Hello. I guess tomorrow's the 20th of August. I'm getting ready to go into surgery for my left knee. Pro- Um, I've been taking it here in El Paso at Memorial Hospital. My daughter's going to take me to the hospital, and right now I might stay 2 or 3 days. I'm not exactly sure how long. But this is, I have no choice but to get it because it's very hampering my way of walking, and it's been a long time because the knee was actually done, both knees were done in 2013. My right knee was done in June of 2013. My left knee was done in December of 2013. It was a horrid experience. I was laid up after each knee for approximately 3 months. You know, well, what made the knee bad this time was about 2.5 years ago, I suffered a stroke. I went to play basketball. I usually do an 2 to 3 times a week. And while I was playing basketball, I was out there. I felt funny. I start seeing my eyes will see little dots and stuff. And I told the guys, you know what? I don't feel so well. I need to take a rest. And after taking a rest for a while, I still felt the blurriness. So I decided that was it. So I decided to go home. On the way home, I still had some problems, but being the person I am, I kind of ignored it. I didn't tell anybody anything. I went home, and actually, I went home and drank a beer. And after that, I decided, hey, go and sleep. So a little while later that evening, my daughter called me, and I was speaking to her, and she kept on questioning. She said, "Dad, have you drink?" I said, "No, only had one." No, man, she said, "Your voice sounds funny." I said, "No, I'm not drinking this. You're crazy." So I kind of ignored her, and I went to bed. And my granddaughter was graduating from high school the next morning. So I got up about 6 o'clock. I said, "Let me use the restroom." And I attempt to get out of bed, and all of a sudden my legs wouldn't work. So I actually sit at the edge of the bed and actually slipped off the bed, and I landed on the floor. And me, type of proud person I am, I called nobody. So I sat in the floor for about an hour, and I had to use the restroom, and I couldn't get up. So I ended up going right there to the restroom on the floor. And so after about an hour or so struggling, I decided, whether it hurt my pride or not, to call my wife, who was in the next room. And she attempted to help me get off the floor, but we had no success. So then she called my daughter, and my daughter came over. It took her about 20 minutes to get over here. And she said, "Dad, what's the matter with you? You can't get up." And she said, "You know what? Call 911." And with that, she called, and EMS came and picked me up. I was embarrassed because I was sleeping that night in my underwear only, and it was wet, so it was embarrassing. But I went anyway, and I ended up staying in the hospital, which is UMC here in El Paso, and it was Saturday morning, Friday morning, and I stayed there all weekend until I saw a doctor on on the Monday morning, and they told me I suffered stroke, but all my vital signs were good. I was kind of lucky, you know, and I appreciate it. Had I called them earlier, I would have avoided all the damage it did. My entire right side was paralyzed. I couldn't move my foot or my arms, and it was like that for a long time. So on the following Tuesday, I was transferred to Sierra, and while I was there, they said I had a stroke, and my doctor came in and saw me, and gave me medicine. I was actually laid up in Sierra for about a month, and I was, oh man, I was in bad shape, you know. After suffering this stroke, I realized something, you know. Years ago, I made the proper decision by staying in the military, because over the years, I've had so many things happen to me. I remember one time I was in Korea and I was playing softball, and I ran into the plate, and when I got in the plate, I pulled a muscle in my right leg, and would you believe I was laid up in the hospital for 3 days? They were so terribly torn. I had no choice. Then I've had I broke my wrist. I was just standing on the wall. My hand just broke. My wrist was broken. I had to have my wrist repaired. I've had prostate cancer, 2 knee replacements, this stroke. I tell people the amount of money the military has spent on me is unbelievable. I call myself the $1 million man because it has taken that much money to just put me back together. It's been costing them quite a bit for 2 years of therapy. It's a good thing to be a veteran, especially a retired veteran. The military has, for years, we were underpaid. I mean, I've been on some duties that you were freezing behind off on guard duty. While people were sleeping in their beds, we out there freezing in Korea, out in the hot sun in Thailand. Now we got some clowns on YouTube talking about Thailand this and Thailand that. Thailand's a great country, but the people have always treated you well. They're now discovering Thailand. I discovered Thailand over 50 years ago. And I love it. It's a beautiful country. It's a nice country to retire to. I'm thinking seriously of, in the next year or so, especially if the U.S. election don't go the way I like it to, I'm going to take my butt and go over there. And I'm going to live off just my disability. Like I said, my family always believed in service. My father, when he was in Trinidad, he was serving in the fire brigade over there for a lot of years. He was one of runners. He was a runner in Trinidad. Because in the 1952 Olympics, he was scheduled to go, but he ended up getting hurt. We had status in Trinidad, but no money. We were broke. United States, I honor this country because this country has been good to me. Because we had opportunities here in the United States you can't get in no other country. you know, because in the West Indies at the time, times are changing, but if you were poor, you were born poor, you were going to die poor. That's just the way it was. And things were really hard for us, and I appreciated my parents, Marjorie and Charles Prince. They did a fantastic job. My father always believed in service. He said the United States have been good to us. We have to show them the appreciation. So he was proud when his kids joined the military. I was actually the third one to join the military because two of my brothers and my sister. And as I said before, my sister retired from the military as an E7. My brother retired from the military as an E7. My brother was 1 year old, Staff Sergeant Terrence Keith Prince, who recently passed, was actually kicked out of the military, but they came back and did him right by taking care of him when he had prostate cancer for over 7 years before he finally passed. And me, I started out as a private, maybe 7, and then after E7, I went and got appointed as a warrant officer, Chief Warrant Officer 2, and I was a warrant officer 2 before I finally retired. And I appreciate the Army and the U.S. and the U.S. I've served this country for over 40 years in some kind of capacity, and will continue to do so until I'm no longer around. I want to make sure all veterans, help as veterans as I can. I'll do my best to help any veteran I can. You know, right now, there's some very good veteran organization here in El Paso. One of the best is to offer friendship, camaraderie, and mentorship is breakfast, Veterans of Breakfast, which meets once a month, and the committee does different jobs all through the year here in El Paso. So I gotta give a shout out to Veterans of Breakfast here in El Paso. You know, since the stroke, my voice is kind of weird. You know, it's a lot of words don't come out like they used to. You know, but I enjoy being a veteran, and I want to tell you that don't forget, this is a new channel, so help me in this channel. Remember, the channel is The Veteran from Trini. Again, thank you. I will report to you guys my surgery. I got a few more hours before it goes down. Thank you.